go make money.
Today's episode of A Couple of Bettors is brought to you by Moneyline Limousine Services. Whether you find yourself in Sin City or you're a Vegas local, choose Moneyline Limo.
Moneyline, it's all about the vibes. Take your friends around in style in their newly updated party buses.
Whether it's a hotel or the dinner reservations on the Strip, for a wedding, pool parties, corporate event, or our personal favorite, a ride to a sporting event, Moneyline has you covered.
Visit their user-friendly site at www.moneylinelimo.com to book your sick ride today.
Mention Couple of Bettors podcast, receive 25% off of any ride that's 3 hours or more. All right, let's move on to today's episode. What's up, everybody? Couple of Bettors coming at you, episode 29. Week 4 is now behind us, going into week 5, NFL action. Doing pretty good so far. You know, the lock of the week, 7 out of 8 of them, they all hit. Pay attention. Gotta make that money. But I guess we should start out like we normally do with...
You got Vegas.
This is a mild one. This is like, you know...
It's not about hookers, but that's the easy one, the hooker stories. So
yeah.
This is a fun one. I mean, this is the epitome of you coming to Vegas and you get Vegas. Totally. And for those of you that don't follow the NHL, hockey preseason is coming to an end. They'll be starting, I think it's this coming week on the actual regular season. But we have been having some preseason games, and we had one here last night across the street, right from where we live. And, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. And the Knights, they lost, unfortunately. But again, preseason, people aren't really like, I don't think any of the starters were in. It just, you know, it is what it is. But so the San Jose Sharks fan is caught on the big jumbotron screen, passed the fuck out in the middle of the game. And you know this man, like, saved up to come out here. He's like, I'm going to go watch. I can't afford regular, or I can't get off for the regular season, but I'm coming for preseason. Instead, he got Vegas and fell asleep, and he was caught on camera. Guys, always remember, when you're coming to Vegas for an event, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon.
Yeah. Take a little snoozer, you know?
No. You don't want to take a snoozer during the whole purpose of your trip.
If you look, it's early in the second period. So the guy lasted maybe a period, maybe not even. But don't get caught on the jumbotron either, you know? Oh, yeah. So pay attention to yourself. Who's this guy's boy? Would he go get more beers?
Where I know, he's also by himself.
You need, have a wingman to nub you a little bit and say, what's up?
I do appreciate, though, Vegas and the fact that they will find the people in the crowd that look like they got hurt by Vegas.
Absolutely.
So that's your You Got Vegas story. Not as fun as the hookers, but it's a little more of a scary story because it could happen to any of you.
That's right.
It's a
the
marathon.
hookers thing you have more control over.
Right.
This one,
Vegas will get you.
It'll get you.
Okay, so again, I got rid of my Bills rant because I thought the Jets were going to be good this season, and I didn't want to spend time just talking about how great the Bills are. But this is just an interesting tidbit. We have to play in the AM game in London this Sunday, so there's nothing like Buffalo putting football before everything else. The governor has asked the state liquor authority to extend special permits. Because the Bills are playing in London, they will be allowed to serve and sell alcohol starting at 8 a.m. on Sunday morning, just in time. Gives it an hour and a half before the Bills start in the East Coast time, 9:30. Here, it starts at 6:30. That's absolutely disgusting. I can't even think of leaving, even though we have bars and liquor available 24 hours. It's way too early. But 9:30 in the morning on East Coast, not so fucking bad. Hit up your bar. Hit up your liquor store. Get those beers. You could do mimosas. You could do micheladas. Those are, Bloody Marys. Those are morning drinks that are acceptable. And enjoy watching the Bills crush the Jaguars, just like we did with the Dolphins.
My guess is these Bills fans are going to be drinking Crown Royal.
Yeah, of course. But I'm trying to be.
They're not going to be. Yeah. They're not going after the mimosa. It's not really a mimosa crowd.
They also did. This was a tweet that was put out like on X. It's called now X, and I think they were trying to play it down a little bit by saying so they can have a pint before the game starts.
Oh,
and we're all like, okay, yeah, sure, just gonna have one fucking beer before the game starts. Absolutely not. But I love you, Buffalo. You always impress me. Be that dirty football city that you are, because you love football more than anything. I'm all for it. Good job, Governor. Give the people what they want.
Give them what they want.
You'll get reelected.
All right, next up, let's face it. A couple of people in the news that we want to highlight. First one, Randy Gregory was just released, which is just so terrible because he signed a 5-year, $70 million deal. Production quality was not there, and they said, you know what? We're cutting bait with you, buddy. We're going to give the young guns a shot. And for all of you who don't know how the contracts work in football, that's why they're always fighting for that guaranteed salary, because if you don't guarantee it and they cut you, that's it. They stop paying you at that point. So, the contracts are all a little bit different, but yeah, he's
a stupid question. So is he getting paid still or not?
There's he's going to get some money. They're on the hook for some money.
Million.
No, not the $70 million at all. So they cut bait on his butt. Next one, Chase Claypool. Bears fans having a rough run at this one, 0-4.
So sorry, Bears fans. So sorry.
Yeah, it wasn't going well for a couple games, and Chase Claypool was supposed to be like, they said he's got the athletic gifts of like the best receivers in the league, but he's a little bit of a whack job. And after the game, they're asking him how things went, this and that. And basically, he just said he was underutilized, and he starts throwing the coaching staff under the bus. So they said, you know what? Why don't you stay away from the team? We're going to try to trade you, and if we don't trade you, we're releasing you. So Claypool is gone from the Bears. Stay away from the building is the notice on him.
Somebody got in trouble for opening up their mouth.
You want to take Vaughn?
Of course. I was just making my comment. Sorry if it took too long for you. No. Yes, Von Miller, we all know he's supposed to come back this week for London, but nothing has been actually official. We just want to bring him back because I love this guy. He's fucking hilarious. On his own podcast, he told us all summer long he will be back for week 1. Team didn't allow that to happen. He said again this week, he said, I will be playing in London. The team hasn't agreed to that yet, so We actually don't know if he's going to play this week. I'm not mad if he sits out for this one. I want him back after Jaguars, so, the London game for me, because it's so early, I feel like it's just kind of like a preseason game, even though I know it counts, and that's a silly way to look at it. But if he wants to sit out that one, that's okay. But poor guy, he really wants to come back. So
I mean, I think either way, the first game he comes back, they're not going to be using him full time,
yes.
right?
Also, so maybe that is a good idea. Sprinkle him in a little bit of the Jaguars. Whatever. I was very sad when he couldn't start the week 1. I am not on that same ship right now with him not coming in this week. But yeah, if you want to sprinkle him in, get him, accustomed to it, it's good. I can't wait till though he's full on. It's going to be scary season in Buffalo when Von Miller's back. So
if they were 1-3, you wouldn't be saying, "Oh, hold him out." You'd be like, "Get him in the game,"
Of course.
Yeah. So they're looking good. You're feeling like you have the time to wait. Wait for the playoff.
He wasn't there last week, and we squished the fish. I don't know if any of you missed it, but we crushed the fish.
Yep.
And he was out. And I must say, I'm telling you, when he comes back in, it's going to be a whole nother thing. Now, we lost Tre'Davious during that game, which is
tough one.
It's tough. We made it all season without him last year. I just feel for that guy so much more because you could tell he's just defeated. He worked so hard to get into rehab, to come back and play. He played like a couple games at the end of last season and only a couple games, and he's already gone and he's out for the rest of the season. That's just, it's crushing him. You can tell on the inside more than just the injury itself. But Von Miller, hopefully we'll see you this week. If not, next week will be just fine. Looking forward to having you back soon, though.
Well, somebody who's not going to be back for the Raiders is Chandler Jones. He was released. I don't know if anybody's been following this one, but the guy lost his mind.
He got Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, geez, he's on social media talking all kinds of crazy stuff. He's got definitely mental issues. We hope he gets his help. But he was insinuating that Josh McDaniels, the coach of the Raiders, was involved in sex trafficking kids and all that. And he's talking crazy about the owner and he doesn't want to work. So they cut him. He's out of there. Chandler Jones, go get yourself some help. And maybe it's a good idea, like you said, maybe move out of Vegas. It's not for everybody.
It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
And then lastly, this is just a fun little stupid thing. talking about the Chiefs versus the Jets. Aaron's on the Pat McAfee show, and he just ends up, blatantly referring to Kelce as, Mr. Pfizer, because if you haven't seen, Kelce's on a new COVID commercial trying to advertise to get the stab. Make sure you keep getting them because, you don't want that COVID. And so even though they have a good relationship, it is kind of good. This is the humor I did not know Aaron had until I watched Hard Knocks. Just being like to a friend of his, Mr. Pfizer, because he's all about COVID vaccination and boosting. I think that was pretty good. Just a little funny tidbit of information there.
If you're playing and they call you, Pfizer calls, and they say, hey, we want you to do the ad, right? What's the number? I mean, like, because he makes a lot of money.
I don't know.
What do you think it would be worth? It's the vaccine that
we think. I mean, we're not like a political podcast, but there's questions that it's.
There's questions. There's definitely questions.
I don't think I would want to be on the back end of that, knowing
Yeah, right.
Advertise it. So
but there's a number though. There's a number.
No. That's the thing.
Well, there's a number for him.
There was a number for him. But I also find him to be kind of toolish. So I'm sure he probably got like $3,000 for that because he's a loser and he would take it.
I'm sure he got a lot. It's like, hey, you want to film one day and you get $400,000. You're like, it's a Bentley. I'll take it.
Yeah, well, I could buy a gift for
Taylor.
Taylor.
Yeah, he's gonna have to start stepping up the gifts now.
Yeah. So anyway, let's face it, just a few little fun tidbits. We do have the injury report up next, but those are some things.
Yeah, how do we do betting though? We did good. It's a good week.
It was a good week.
I take it.
I got hit a lot on the Giants. It's not even because we're not going to go through all of these, but I added to the Giants. I got them at -1. They went down to +2.5 because Saquon was officially out. So I just I put a bunch more money on that, which is not even shown here because we just focus on what we tell you guys in the podcast. Fucking Giants, not even close.
No.
So I took a big hit on the Giants, thinking I could actually get a good one in there. That was embarrassing, but overall, for me personally, lock of the week came through on the Cowboys versus Patriots. That was easy money. The Niners was a challenge bet, and they crushed the -14. So any of those of you that followed my bet on that one, you're welcome. That was fucking fun to watch because you knew they were going to win. But were they going to crush the spread? They did that. So that was another fun one.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, lock obviously was good, but it was not that close. I mean, sorry, it was close. It was 7-point game, and it was a 5.5 point spread. There was some other decent ones here and there, but overall, happy with a bunch of wins. I mean, the Cowboys one, I was on that too. Texans, I actually joined that one. So there was a bunch of different winners, but 62%. And if you can be up 5 units on 11, you're only betting 11. So you would take that all day long, right? I mean, it's like, for those you don't know how that translates, let's say your unit was $100 and you bet $1,100 and you win $500, you're happy about that. You do that every week.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
All right, injury report. She mentioned Tre'Davious White sucks, out for the season. Mm-hmm. The Patriots lost their corner, Christian Gonzalez, and then they actually traded to get another corner. To swap him out. We don't know if Kenny Pickett's playing yet. They're testing him out today. He's practicing today. Today is Wednesday. He'll be releasing this on Thursday. So we'll see. A lot of questionable guys. Saquon's another one who's still on
I don't think Saquon is pretty... They're starting to practice him, but I don't think they're going to put him in this... I mean, against the Dolphins, he's probably going to get hurt. You're not looking to have that team be good. Cooper Kupp, though, however, he should be coming back. It looks like he's ready to go. They haven't put the official okay in, but he's like the closest out of this list for actually being in this week.
And that's a big ad. He was started the season on the PUP, and the fact that you got Nakua, Puka, and him now back, it's like that.
I mean, a pretty strong team.
Yeah, Stafford's looking good without him. Mm. So I mean, watch out for the Rams. They're looking pretty decent right now. Oh, T. Higgins was one that's doubtful for the Bengals who have been struggling anyway, but that's not helpful. So
I like this. The Bengals struggling is fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, and we're going to move on now to our bets because I'm excited. I'm taking a bunch of overs this weekend. Let's hammer the over. I don't know what it is. I like a lot of them. Going for them. Don't like betting unders. Unders, life's too short to bet the under. So, let's go overs. Plus, of course, the Bills are going to dominate.
So starting out with your first over.
Right.
Bears versus the Commanders. Thursday night football action.
44.5. I think that's easily doable. They are similar teams. The Bears don't have a record as good as the Commanders, but they're starting. They look better last week. They just barely lost.
They were up by 21 and they blew it.
But
they were up by 21 points.
So.
No, I know. But they let up too many points. They let up freaking 31. That's why we're both on the over.
Yeah, I just feel like there's going to be points scored, whether it's by the Commanders or the Bears. I'm not saying that the Bears are going to win. That's not the case.
Yeah,
but I think that the two teams they're a good match to cover the over, not the spreads that they've been given though.
I think Sam Howell's got the Commanders doing well. I mean, I know that the Bears they so need a win here. Mm-hmm. So that's why, in these games where you think it's going to be pretty close, you go back and forth a little bit here. It could be, easily hitting that 44.5, which is a pretty low under. So I'm on it with her. Let's go. Points. Uh-oh. The Jaguars versus the Bills. London games.
Okay, so what I don't like about the London game is the Jaguars, they get to stay the whole time. Now, they have to play twice in London. That fucking sucks. But they got there like over a week ago. They've gotten to stay the whole time. They're no longer getting used to the time zone. The Bills, they are flying out Wednesday night. So they will have a few days to get themselves acclimated. But, that is just the one little tiny thing. I don't think it's going to change the world, and it really shouldn't. You should be able to, if you're a good team, you should be able to overcome those things. But, I mean, Josh and I will tell you, jet lag is a thing. Just going from New York to Vegas or vice versa, it is rough with the time change and the hours. It's difficult. So it can be a little challenging. However, Josh believes that the Bills are going to cover the spread, as do I. Again, I don't put my money on the Bills. I feel like it'll just jinx them. But he's going for it.
Just think about all those guys that have kids. They get to have a peaceful night of sleep. I'm sure they have nannies too. All right, forget it. But anyway, I just think that the Bills are rolling right now. And although the Jaguars have a good defense, I just think that the Bills are going to put up more points. The Jags are solid, but to me, this is like maybe a 30-13 type of game.
I like it.
Yeah, I think that the Bills roll here. So 5.5 points, I like it a lot, actually. I know there's people that think differently, Monkey, but we'll see what happens there in London.
Just so you're clear, who he just mentioned is very bad at betting. So he took the Dolphins last week, knowingly that he was going to piss me off. Instead, I was very happy because it was a terrible bet. But now we're going on to the Texans at the Falcons, and this is where my lock of the week comes in. Shocking, I know, but I am going to take the Texans for once. I don't think I've ever taken the Texans as a lock. I think this week is the week to do it. They're getting 1.5 at the Falcons. The scores between these two teams have been ridiculous. Falcons on week 4, they lost to the Jags 23-7. And they lost to the Lions 20-6. I mean, these are terrible losses, not even close. They look weak. The Texans, however, they ended up getting 37-17. The Jags, they actually won against the Jags, and then they ended up beating the Steelers 30-6. So, I mean, right there, those are two decent teams. Steelers, Jags are supposed to be good.
Yeah.
Falcons couldn't do anything against them. The Texans, I getting 1.5, I think, should be an easy spread to cover. I'm going with them as my lock of the week.
Yeah, C.J. Stroud has been looking really good as a rookie here. So, I think that there's definitely going to be points scored here. I'm on the over on this one. It's a very low under-over at 41.5. Ritter's playing for his job, knowing that they have Taylor Heineke behind him. And so he's got to step up here. And I think that the Texans will put up points on the Falcons. So, yeah, I'm going for the over 41.5. Hammer it.
This is a game we're both staying off of.
Yeah, Panthers, Lions. I think this one's a tough one just because you got a really large spread here at 9.5.
We all know I love my Lions. I love betting on my Lions, but 9.5 is too much.
Yeah,
I don't trust it.
especially with a Panthers team that like desperately needs a win at 0-4. You know,
I don't think they're going to get a win though.
I don't either.
Lions
No,
are at home.
I still think it's possible that that the Lions win by more than 10. You know, but if anything here, I think that maybe you go back and forth with some points and it ends up hitting the over. So that's what we lean.
We're leaning. We're staying away from it. It's scary.
The one thing is Jameson Williams, who is back for the Lions. He's a wide receiver. He was suspended because the NFL had a gambling policy that he played. It was one of those things where he was on his phone and placed a bet for a negligible amount of money, but on a different. It was like on basketball or something. It's not on a football game, and so they changed the policy and they said now if you do this similar thing, instead of a 6-game suspension, it's a 4-game. So they updated his suspension, and now he's available for Goff. So that should give a little bit of a boost to a Lions offense that already has been rolling.
Next game, we have the Titans versus the Colts. And I'm actually taking the Colts on this one. I thought long and hard about it, but I think that the Colts can easily cover the +1 spread at home. Both teams have been putting up points, okay? So the over where Josh is looking at, leaning towards, is a good one, too, because it's a low over, and they've been doing, high-scoring games. But the Colts, I don't know. I saw them. I had money on teams against them, I think, a couple of times, and I was shocked that they were pushing us so hard. They were fighting each one of their games, and I was impressed. Also, fuck Derrick Henry, you know. I don't. So I think the Colts are going to do just fine in this game. The Titans are a scary team to some. I think they can overcome that +1 spread, though.
Yeah, I think that the reason why it's not Colts favored on this one, just because the Titans had a good game last week, frankly, and people said, oh, wait a minute, the Titans are still good. Derrick Henry can still run. So they're giving him a little bit too much credit, and they're kind of forgetting about those couple losses where they look like dog shit, you know?
Yeah, so I'm going Colts, guys. I think it's a good one. Shout out to Noobs' dad, Mr. Newberger.
All right, next up. This is my lock of the week. Giants at the Dolphins. I think this one is an easy one for the Dolphins. The Giants line is all banged up. We all saw it this week. It was pretty embarrassing, to be honest with you. I don't know what Danny Dimes is going to do. I don't think Saquon's going to be playing. And even if he does, I don't think it's going to help him that much. The Dolphins, they're going to throw away the tape from the Bills game. They got beat up a little bit there. But against the Giants at home, you got to think that they're going to win this one by 20. So I'm all over the Dolphins here. And I'm sorry to the Giants fans out there. I know, I get it. It's not your fault. The line's all banged up. There's all these problems. Dable's yelling at Danny Dimes on the sideline. A lot of issues there. So definitely going with those Dolphins. And I'm not going to do it a lot either, especially if it's later in the season because I don't like the Dolphins. But I'm going to do it for the money right now.
We have the Saints at the Patriots. I'm taking the Saints at +1. I know they're at Gillette Stadium in New England, but I don't know. Like I've mentioned this before, I believe the Pats fans are just kind of falling apart. They're not into it anymore. They're not used to losing at all, so this is rough for them. I don't think them as a crowd is going to be a problem. They have actually spent more time booing their own team than cheering them on. Saints get a point. Everybody pretty much for the Saints is in top shape. There's no real good injury, no strong injuries. I know Derek Carr, I believe he played injured last week. Hopefully he's worked on that and it's not as bad. And we'll see a better Derek Carr this game.
Yeah, I mean, the Pats got beat up pretty badly against the Cowboys, right? I mean, it was it was embarrassing. They took out Mac Jones and like in the third quarter, and they were like, Belichick said, I didn't see a point of him being out there anymore. The question is like, he did this last year. He put Bailey Zappi in, and it's like, are you doing that because you think that Mac Jones is not good?
Yeah, I mean, and that you just watch that team fall apart with that stuff because if you don't have a coach and a quarterback who are vibing together, which is what happened last season also with them, things aren't going to go well. So I got Saints. I'm taking the Saints, put my money on them.
Maybe they'll get a couple pick sixes because Mac Jones is throwing them.
This is true.
Yeah, Baltimore Ravens at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Again, we don't know if Pickett's going to be playing. He's practicing today, and they're going to see how it feels. And there's still some injuries on the Ravens side with the receivers, with OBJ and Bateman. I just still think that the Ravens, I mean, look, they lost the one game in overtime is their only loss. They're 3-1 right now. 4 points against the Steelers. I know Steelers play tough at home, but I'm actually thinking that Kenny Pickett's not going to be playing as well, so it's going to be Mitchell Trubisky. Probably good for a pick on that one to a Ravens defense. The -4 seems like it's going to cover.
Yeah, it is. It is a low spread, and now I'm looking at it. I'm like, maybe I should also put money on this. But I have so many other bets out there. It seems like an easy bet.
It's also somebody you want to pay attention. It's like you have a million games to look at.
Too many, and I think this.
This is going to be the 4s.
Yeah, so that's the end of the morning ones. So then that's just too much. So now we're in the later games.
Yep.
Bengals at Cardinals. Who cares? We would take the Cardinals. We lean on them.
Well, I don't even want to touch Bengals games until I find out who the hell that team is, because the way they've looked, it's been shit.
Yeah,
but then again,
money.
You think of it, you look at the whole team and you go, just because Burrow's got a bad calf, why the hell aren't they playing well enough? And then they should beat up the Cardinals, but then again, the Cardinals beat the Cowboys. So you're going, are they better? And they're at home. And then it's like, so we're both kind of leaning on the home dogs as Cardinals. But you never know with Burrow and shit. So it's like, stay away from it, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're into doing the home dogs, which we have friends that are, this is probably a good one to do. I don't know. Yeah. Not into it. But what I am into are the Rams at the Eagles at the Rams, but
you're betting the Rams.
I'm betting the Rams. I wanted to start with how I'm betting the Rams, but then the location threw me off. Rams get 4.5. Cooper Kupp we talked about earlier. He's probably going to be back. Like it's like 90% chance, maybe even plus that. So I think this is their chance for them to get their shit together, prove themselves against a 4-0 team. I mean, I'm actually also a little emotional about this. I don't want the Eagles like having a 5-0.
I know, right? You don't want to be like undefeated. It's like get your butts kicked. You're going on the road across the whole country, and the Rams are not bad.
Yeah, so I think this is a good one. Rams 4.5. Getting points.
Take those points. All right, New York Jets at the Denver Broncos. And if everybody knows, before the season started, Sean Payton was talking all kinds of shit about Nathaniel Hackett and how it was the worst head coaching job he's ever seen, which was at the Broncos, right? I think he was probably trying to juice his guys up to say you're not as bad as your coaching was. But either way, it stung a little bit on the Jets staff. So they're circling this game. And I saw the press conferences this week making it seem like they didn't care, but they care. Breece Hall, not on a pitch count anymore. He's full go, so they can unleash him. I think the Broncos' defense is bad, frankly. And I think that this is going to be a time where, Zach Wilson looked good last week against a good Kansas City defense. Got a little swag going on that. If you're going up against these Broncos, there's going to be guys open, right? Hit your guys, throw touchdowns. I don't know what Zach Wilson's over on the yardage is, but if it's over like 205, I'd take the over on that one. And I really think the Jets really need to get this road win here and show everybody, hey, and forget about taking the 1.5 point. I don't want them to lose by one and I cover. Take your even money line bet. 100 wins 100, 1,000 wins 1,000, 10,000 wins 10,000.
You don't see a lot of even money line bets. This is your shot. Take
it.
That's why I'm taking it. I don't tend to put my money on the Jets, but I like that. I like those numbers. Their
strength is their offense. The Denver's offense has been pretty good this year, but the Jets' defense is good. So I think that's actually a good matchup. And then on the other side, I think a Jets offense is actually going to get rolling on these guys. So really need this one. If you come away with a loss on this one, it's going to be disappointing because after this game, we're coming home to play the Eagles. So let's get the win.
Oh, boy, that's rough.
Yeah, I know.
All right, here's one we're not betting on. Chiefs at Vikings. I have no idea who the hell the Chiefs are. The Vikings aren't that good. I would take the Chiefs being able to cover that -4 spread at the Vikings, but I don't like betting on the Chiefs, and this isn't like the one lock of the week I took. I just want to stay away from these guys from now on.
Yeah, I'm staying away. I mean, look, the 4 points doesn't seem like a lot, but a 1-3 Vikings team that you feel is actually better than that. Kirk Cousins has been playing pretty well all year, and they're at home. It just feels to me like there's a potential to get trapped if you're betting that Chiefs. So, going to stay away from it. I kind of lean on the under 53. The Chiefs defense is pretty good, and I feel like this game is going to be, close. So maybe it's like 23-20, that type of thing. And I kind of would lean towards the under.
Betting the under is boring, though.
Yep. Sunday Night Football. This is the game of the week. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah, we just have to make it through Sunday night. We starting at 6:30, don't forget. 6:30 a.m. that day.
Cowboys at the 49ers. This is who's going to see who's boss in the NFC.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Or even the league, frankly. I mean, this is a good game. I mean, do you think that the Cowboys can go to the Niners and win this game? I don't.
I don't either, but there's a shot.
Sure, yeah.
Everything's up in the air. Would I like to see both teams just look like shit because, hey, let's tone it down a little bit. We're getting a little too excited. Yeah, sure, but I don't think that's going to be the case, so I'm taking the over on this one. I think there's just going to be points scored everywhere. I'm taking the over 45.
I do. I think that as much as the Cowboys defense and front seven gets after the quarterback, and you can talk about Micah Parsons and all that stuff, I think that Kyle Shanahan and the coach of the Niners is going to put together a game plan that's going to take away that speed from the pass rush and get the ball out of his hands quickly. Brock Purdy has been so efficient getting the ball to guys in stride that it's just going to be points. And like she said, I think it's points, but I do think that the class here is going to be the Niners. And, when's the last time they lost a regular season game with Brock Purdy? It's been forever. No. And they're home. If this game was the other way, if it was home for Dallas, maybe I'd be thinking a little bit differently, but not here.
Definitely a one to watch, though, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we have our Monday Night Football game. This is actually a little more near and dear to our hearts. We're going to be attending this game because it's at the Raiders, Allegiant Stadium, 1 block away. Got some friends tailgating over here, and they're not even Packers fans. They're Niner fans, but, unfortunately, that's what happens in Vegas. It's not a lot of Raiders fans. It's just people who like football that come together to watch football. But with that being said, we're both taking the over because we'll be there, and we're going to want to cheer for points.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, to be honest, Green Bay is probably... Yeah, the Raiders have not looked that good.
No,
no. And it's a tough one.
Green Bay is not even awesome, but they look much better than the Raiders. But the Raiders are home, and you don't want to be a dick and cheer against the Raiders when you live here. So might as well go for the over.
Yeah, I do think that's the bet here. I think the over is the bet anyway. So we'll go for it. We'll be there tailgating. Normally, it's like if you go to one of these Raiders games, they're on at, the local time is like 1 o'clock, 1:15, whatever. And then there's games on before that and stuff. And you think about tailgating, and it's like we want to bet all these other games. So we haven't ever gone to a Raiders game and tailgated. But since it's Monday Night Football, there's no games before it. We can go a little bit earlier, hang out, have a good time, see what the tailgating scene's all about. Because so far we haven't really seen it. We've just seen everybody walking over the bridge from Mandalay Bay and going to the game.
I think we get spoiled with Bill's Mafia, though.
It's not going to be like that.
I know. Boo. But, yes, Bill's Mafia. You guys are the best. That's why.
Yeah. All right, that's Monday Night Football action. So let's just wrap it up real quick with what we're actually betting. Starting out Thursday night, both on the over in the Bears versus Commanders game. Don't think there's going to be a lot of defense in that one and think that 44.5 is too low. And then I'm on the Bills, minus 5.5. She would have bet it if she bets on the Bills. In London, still think it's fine that they go over there and beat up on the Jaguars, even though the Jaguars are relaxed and have been there for 10 days.
Yeah, it's the Bills. The Bills, AAA. Can't wait. I have my lock of the week, Texans, plus 1.5 versus the Falcons. I think that's an easy money bet. Go ahead, follow my lock. Let's go Texans. Crush the Falcons.
There it is. And in that game, I'm going to be on the over 41.5. I think it's super low. I think C.J. Stroud is going to get those Texans going, like she said. I think there's going to be some points back and forth. Damian Ritter is going to be playing for his job.
Then I'm taking the Colts, +1 versus the Titans. We talked about the Titans. They showed up last week, but they've been missing the last few weeks. Colts have been fighting hard. I think they can cover this spread. I think they're going to win. Colts +1.
And my lock of the week is going to be on the Dolphins versus the Giants. Dolphins are at home. I know that the spread is large. It's 11, but I'm still fine taking it. I think that the Giants are too beat up on O-line. They're playing the Ole, letting the guy go by them, doing the Ole like that. Danny Dimes doesn't have it going yet. Saquon's probably not playing. And I think this one's, to be honest with you, an easy one. So sorry for you Giants fans.
Yeah, well, Dolphins fans are going to enjoy that game.
Yep.
All right, I have next the Saints at +1 versus the Patriots. You've got two fairly crappy teams going against each other, but the Patriots have a lot of work to do. They are not vibing. The coach, Belichick, does not really seem to like his quarterback. The team is just falling apart. Saints are going to be able to win this one at the Patriots' home because that's how bad they are. Saints +1.
Yep, and then I'm going with the Ravens -4 points. I think Lamar and team are, I know it's a divisional game and they're on the road at the Steelers. Don't know if Kenny Pickett's playing. Probably, I'm kind of betting that he's not playing. I already put the bet in. I just think that the Ravens are just a better team, and I think they're going to get that dub and win by more than 4.
I also have now the Rams +4.5 versus the Eagles. One, it's an emotional bet. I want the Eagles to not be 5-0 just because. But the Rams are getting their shit together. They got Cooper Kupp coming back. Stafford's been looking better. You've got Puka Nacua. They got a strong team. I think this is going to be their revenge game. Like, okay, guys, we're here. We are now a threat. That's going to happen this Sunday. Rams +4 versus the Eagles. I'm taking it.
Yep. And then we're both on Jets money line on the road.
Shocking, I know.
Just get the win. That's all you got to do, fellas. Go across, get the win against Sean Payton in a Hackett revenge game where he's going to draw up all those plays against a shitty-ass Broncos defense. Zach Wilson's going to look like a stud. Mm-hmm. Speaking of which, I'm wearing a Joe Namath jersey because Joe Namath is flip-flopping all over the place. He says, Zach Wilson, I'm done with him. I'm trading him. He plays good one game. What does he say? He's going to be here for 10 years now. Okay, Joe. Get it together, Joe. Maybe just, you don't have to go do a flip-flop 180 on this one. But I think the Jets are going to win this one. So I guess Joe is going to be right for one more week.
Okay. That was a lot.
49ers -3.5. Oh, I'm going with those guys. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. I like that 3.5 points at home.
No.
Yeah, they're home.
Oh, yeah, they are. Oh, whatever. That's why I took the over on the Cowboys and the 49ers because I don't give a fuck who's home. I just know that they're all going to go pew, 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 pew. Points all day, buddy. Yep. Hammer the over 45.
That is right. And on the last game of the week, which is the Monday Night Football game, we'll be there, and we're going to watch some points get scored as Jordan Love comes out, has a good game against a bad Raiders defense. But at the same time, we get a little action. Hopefully Jimmy G's back. We get some offense going from the Raiders, and we make it a good, fun game that we're going to go to, and it's the over.
Yep. Points.
That's it. So that's it, everybody. Look, giving you winners here, okay? We're on them, and we're going to keep doing it. So we're going to keep winning. I can't stop that. I just can't.
His team isn't that good at that, but
I'm talking about betting. I'm not the Jets. If I was on the Jets, we would be losing. All right.
Let's go, Buffalo. Loved what you did last week. Thank you. Best day of my life so far this season. And let's hammer the over this week because I've got 4 of them. Also, I think, all my bets are going to be great, but hammer the over.
All right. See you, folks. Bye.
Bye.
Bettors. I want to make money.